Hi, garden rebels. We went over color. We went over form. There is a third secret ingredient to really make your basket or your container over the top. I want to go over that today. Reveal that final touch. Let's get started. Now, thinking back, when you saw an amazing hanging basket or container, you just thought, wow, that does it for me. There's something about this combination that just feels right, looks right, is right. What we didn't know is that there are really three things working together to create that magic. And if we know what those three things are, it's easy for us to use those same rules or guidelines in our own containers to create that same magic. So now we've gone over rule one, which is color. Our eyes catch color just naturally, first and foremost, out of the gate. It's the biggest percentage, and if we get that right, we're well on our way home. The second one we mentioned was all about form. Remember, it's how they're arranged in our basket, and that creates a secondary type of magic that we really didn't know. And the third thing, the one piece that's missing that really ties it in, I call it, it really puts your basket over the top. It's the je ne sais quoi. It's the je ne sais quoi. It's that little bit of extra that really puts it all together. And that is, it's all about texture. What do I mean by texture? Take a look. This beauty is texture. This is Senecio angel wings. You want texture? Take a look at this. This is Santalina lemon fizz. Oh, and this Mahonia. This is a newish variety. It's called Soft Caress. The little yellow blooms are extra. And yes, this is texture. This is Thuja plicata whipcord. It's one of my favorites. This is Cryptomeria japonica Barodo. I love that tiny, tiny detail. Take a look really close up. Such a cool plant. And this time of year always begs for this simple texture. This is Wintergreen, Gaultheria procumbens. This is where wintergreen flavor came from. Yes, those berries. Now, the simplest, easiest way to see textures is just visiting the succulents. Here is where you can really begin to appreciate all the different textures. And I think a lot of people who appreciate the succulent planters really appreciate texture. Can you handle one more? take a look at this. This is Sempervivum arachnoides spumanti, like little spider webs. Now here's a little bit of spicy truth. Now we have the color, we have the form, we have the texture, and it all interlocks. That a plant has color, it has form, and it has texture in itself. And we're trying to make sure that all of these things are contrasting or complementing each other. And it can get a bit overwhelming. So here's just a little trick to add in some texture if you're in doubt. First, let me illustrate a difficulty in putting things together, considering all three rules that we have to keep in mind. Now, take a look. This is a Picea sitchensis Papoose. Okay, it's got a nice blue coloring. And I've decided on this Euphorbia silver swan next to it. And now I've decided on this Juniperus squamata blue star. All in the blue ranges, so that's we're gonna keep it simple. But you notice the texture on this Picea is very similar to the texture on the Juniperus. Let's change that out. So now let me introduce this Senecio Mt Everest, right? Different than the Juniperus, but now what I'm seeing is that this texture is actually kind of similar to this texture. So let's try changing that out. Still in the same color range, and you can see how that really begins to pop. We have the texture of the Senecio Mt Everest, we have the texture of the Blue Star Juniper, and we have the texture of the Senecio Angel Wings. This works. Let's just say we take this Cupressus, bluish color. I'm going to do a container all blue just to eliminate color as an issue. And then I'm going to add in this lavender super blue and another texture, the same Senecio Angel Wings. I sure love this one. All three work. Here is my little trick, that if you feel like you want to add in a bit more of texture, add in a type of Sempervivum. And you can see adding this in there adds just that extra little touch of texture to make your container really pop. That's the tips and tricks for this week, guys. Always live your passion. Yep, keep planting.